Let's talk about projectile motion, starting with horizontal motion. The horizontal component of velocity is equal to the velocity times the cosine of the angle. A general equation is the change in horizontal distance is equal to the horizontal component of initial velocity times time. The horizontal component of velocity is a constant and therefore the acceleration is equal to 0. Now let's move on to vertical motion. The final y height is equal to the initial y height plus the initial y component of velocity times time minus 1/2 times g times t squared. The final y component of velocity is equal to the initial y component of velocity minus g times t. Let's go ahead and solve a horizontal motion problem. From a height of 100 meters, a ball is thrown horizontally with an initial speed of 15 meters per second. How far does it travel horizontally in the first 2 seconds? In this problem, we are given the initial velocity, which is 15 meters per second, and we're also given the time, which is 2 seconds. And of course, the angle is 0 because it's just thrown horizontal. And we're asked to solve for the horizontal distance. We use the horizontal motion equation. Change in x distance is equal to the initial component of x velocity times time, and plugging values we get 15 times 2, which gives us 30 meters. Now let's go ahead and solve a vertical motion problem. In this problem, we are given the initial velocity, which is 40 meters per second, and we're given the angle, which is 30 degrees. We're asked to solve for time as well as vertical distance. First, let's solve for time. We solve for time using this equation. We set the final velocity equal to 0 since it's at the top of the parabola, and we rearrange the equation for time. Substituting in values, we will eventually get around 2 seconds. Using this value, we can now figure out how high it is. Use this equation to figure out the height. Change in y distance is equal to the initial y component times time minus 1/2 times g times t squared. And once we plug in the values, we will get 20 meters. Now let's solve a problem which deals with both horizontal and vertical motion. In this problem, we were given the initial velocity, which is 60 meters per second, as well as the angle, which is 30 degrees. We are asked to solve for time as well as horizontal distance. We will use the following equation to solve for the time. And we set the final velocity equal to 0 since it's at the top of the parabola. And we rearrange the equation for time. And we get about 3 seconds. But since it's asking for the total time, we multiply it by 2. And we use the calculated time of 6 seconds to plug in to our equation for horizontal motion. And we get 312 meters.